right, and welcome back to another Joyful Connections episode. And you may have seen the previous episode with Fay Hart. Well, she's back. Welcome back, Fay.
Thank you, Tina. I'm
Our
excited to be back.
our legendary rock chick. That's what we're gonna call you. On
Let's
many
get my own
levels.
shower.
Yeah, many levels. You were sharing in our previous segment how you have this beautiful relationship with this grandmother rock nearby you, and how you received a download which has become your steps. If you'd like to share a
Yeah,
bit about that.
it is the steps, and it's 12 steps for these times that we're living in. It's actually, it's not a prescriptive program. It's really to invite self-inquiry and this possibility of taking full authority over one's life. And it's also an expedient means to end your suffering. Absolutely. You just have to do it. And the beautiful thing of it is, it only takes 12 weeks. One step a week for 12 weeks. None of this hanging around for 24 years trying to get it.
All right, so tell us about it.
Well, the first step, well, and I told you in the other video, but I'll just recap that how I got to this, was through this relationship, through meditating with this huge boulder, sitting in meditation there for several months and really grounding, with that energy of the rock, which now I understand how, I've been trying to, with the emphasis on trying to reach that unified field, or trying, and it was, I suppose it's just that moment of surrender when you get that you are already there. It's that when you find, how does that go, which I just love, when you realize the thing that you're looking for is the thing that's looking. Then you sort of have some cognitive dissonance because everything sort of just disintegrates. But fortunately, I had developed this relationship with this rock, which that's what I've come to understand, is that everything has its vibratory signature. The hippies knew this. They were all about vibes, man, right? That's why I wanted to hang out with rock. Well, that's a way to accentuate that, to access that. But it's like one of my teachers, Panache Desai, said when I asked him about, oh, what about smoking pot through all this, Panache? Is that okay? I was always trying to get my teachers to confirm that, oh, sure, Faye, eat marshmallows, smoke pot. It's really good. Helps you a lot. But what he said was beautiful, because he said that smoking cannabis can give you a an unsustainable, non-local experience. And he said, why would you want to access it only through pot when you can have it for free anytime you want? And I really understood what he meant by for free was not the cost of a bag of weed, but the cost of the whole shebang. First of all, the fact that there's a prohibition on it, is ridiculous as that is, it makes you doing something illegal, which is a whole set of things. And just all the other stuff about it. Get a hangover and things like that. That's what he meant by free. And so, but anyway, now you're segueing me off into
Back to the rock.
back, back to the rock. But so the vibe of rocks, as it were, is very cool, very Zen-like. Because they do, they just sit there. And this particular boulder, sometimes you don't get, I'm living in this beautiful little village that is just growing up as I speak. It's just everywhere you can build, they're building up the little mountains, So what was a tiny colonial village in this little valley is now all up the hills and everywhere. So sometimes you forget that this is very recent. This was just a big patch of land for a very long time. And so that rock, she's just been sitting there, vibrating in this really cool way for a long time. So it was that, you see, I need that, actually, that grounding with all this stuff, because I do like the intellect. I enjoy intellectual inquiry and analyzing things. I actually have got, it took me a long time to find out how to do that and to feel good about that. So I do need things grounded in some sort of intellectual way for me, which is quite painful often when you're on this journey that logic and reason aren't going to help you there. They're actually going to be a hindrance. So I think that finding this rock, I would sit in meditation. It really improved my meditation tenfold, sitting there. And it was the grounding. And so I suppose if one wanted to really be reasonable, one could say that I sat long enough in this energy that I was able to pull this wisdom out of myself, which are these steps. Or one could say that this download came to me. It doesn't really matter because it's all been there all the time. All I had to do was pluck it out. It's the same way you make poems, really. It's all just out there. You just have to bring something in. And it's a matter of paying attention so you catch it, But anyway, I'm going to put the 12 steps, will be up on followfay.com. This is all really hot off the press. So I really wanted to tell you about it because it's actually, it's just something so beautiful. And also it's really neat being a poet, is such a pain in the ass sometimes because you can't help but want to be a perfectionist, because that's what poetry is. It's really taking out everything that's not needed, and that's sometimes hard because you get a little, some little sentimental thing you really like, you want to hold on to, but it has to kind of go. So, I don't know why I was telling you now about. Oh, right. Sorry. So it's the perfectionism. Yeah. And so the neat thing about these steps, because I don't even feel that I really wrote them. I don't have that. It's such a freedom. I don't have to defend them or, because I'm even looking at them thinking, well, that's a bit woolly. What does that mean? It's like I'm reading them as if almost for the first time. I probably changed 2 or 3 words from the way they originally came. And it was just for my own aesthetic niggle. There were a couple of things that I couldn't tolerate, but for the most part, they're just as they were. So I'm going to put them up at followfay.com so everyone can have access to them. And then I'm just finishing a workbook, kind of explaining how to work with them. And that's the beauty of it too, that you will all the tools that you need to do this work are free. You know what I mean? It's not going to cost you thousands of dollars to go and get your bars run or something, or whatever people are doing these days. Do you know what I mean? It actually, but also I'm going to give teleclasses so I can do groups. And the beautiful thing too of it, of course it makes sense. It's 3 months, 12 weeks. And that's what I've known all along, that everything takes 3 months. The seasons, it's this beautiful, I don't really understand the science behind it, but your whole ebb and flow happens in your life. Every cycle you go through in those 3 months. And so why spend more than 3 months changing your life, Well,
I guess the thing here would be that there's going to be different things that resonate for different people. And also what's so interesting to observe is that with the changes that we're all going through, this big shift, that things that used to work are not necessarily working anymore. Oftentimes they're not. So it's time for something new to come through. And it feels like you've been letting all these things brewing within you. It's like they've been marinating, and wow, it's now been ready to come out. And this is your way of expressing it. I like it.
Yeah. Well, and what I like about it too, this just occurred to me yesterday, that you could even use it in conjunction with the original steps if you're part of that program, because that program, a lot of people just love that, and they really create a whole life around it. But I noticed that when I was going to that program, they were having offshoots. They were having like understanding 12 steps for women or 12 steps for agnostics. Other people were trying to understand it. So this wouldn't necessarily be exclusive. You could even use this with the original 12 steps as to create some balance.
So would you be willing? Yeah, would you be willing to share quickly just what they are, and then people can go to your site, followfay.com, and they're going to be able to see them there. Yeah,
I'm going to do that. So you want me to tell you all 12?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just get the. I didn't have it out. I'm badly prepared. They're because they're not just one word. They're a wee bit long. Mm-hmm. Sorry.
No worries.
You caught me off guard. Here they are. The steps. I love that they're because of the way this all came. This so-called download notion, and I take things so literally sometimes. So I thought, okay, how they came to me, it was called 12 Steps for 2012, a new paradigm in healing for our time. I thought, oh, I really don't want a title like that. But I thought, no, that's what God said, so it has to be like that. And then finally yesterday I thought, God won't mind if I call it The Steps. No, do you know what I mean? I suddenly thought, no, I think you don't have to take everything so literally. It's still coming through you, whatever. So the steps are, first steps, which I told you, is I admitted to myself that I am powerful beyond measure and have all I need to create the life I desire. I love that. See, that's almost enough right there. You could just have one step. So I'm not going to read them all because it's too time consuming, but I'll read a couple more and then you can go and download the PDF from my website and have them. 7 I like is I created a releasing statement and continued to be willing to deconstruct all that stood in my way of achieving peace, harmony, and prosperity. And then I have a glossary also that explains how to create a releasing statement, or you just need to hone in on these words and make them mean what they works for you, kind of thing. The beautiful thing is it's not prescriptive. Well, I'll let you know next time we speak, because what's happening tomorrow is I'm going to finish this workbook, and I have 8 people who are going to do the steps. They're going to do 1 step a day for the next 12 days and then give me feedback on how it worked. And this is a nice array of people. I have men and women. So we'll see. But I'll tell you step 12, because this actually made me weep when I wrote this. Because it was the light was going. I was actually just finishing writing it, as the sun was setting. And it said, knowing that I am part of a great awakening, I began to see the perfection in all beings and all events in my life. I experienced oneness as I became more and more available to inspire all those ready to awaken to the truth of who they are. Isn't that beautiful?
Yeah.
So those are the 12 steps for 2012, a new paradigm of healing for our time. Actually, it does sound kind of nice.
Yeah. You could call it the steps for short, and then the full version.
I like the steps.
Well, how about, this will be fun. How about for everyone who's watching, share your comments below in the YouTube video as to which name you would go for the steps, or do you like the longer version, the complete version, or both? And let's see what we are going to be hearing. This is going to be fun. Yay. So, well, these are going to be up on your website. By the time this video is posted, it might already be there. So that's followfay.com. And anything you would like to say before we wrap up this segment today?
No, I just love to say how much I enjoy talking to you, and how much I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to share in such an immediate kind of way, because this is something that I really feel strongly is going to really benefit a lot of people. And it just feels so exciting, to be part of that.
Yay. Well, thank you. I feel really honored and blessed that you're choosing to spend this time together. So it's always, this is what Joyful Connections is about for me. Yeah, me too. Yeah. So thanks, Fay. And until the next time, many joyful blessings.
All right, you too, Tina. Hasta luego.